So today we're going to do a grounding and balancing flow for Vata imbalance. So some of us have, in Ayurveda, some of us have a Vata dosha, and that just means that you get very ungrounded, you get very flighty and forgetful, kind of spacey, you're out there in the ether. And it's not always a bad thing. When it's out of balance, it feels like a bad thing. So you might just always feel very anxious and like anything can blow you in any direction at any time. You need to ground is what's missing. So we've been doing a lot of grounding stuff naturally, just because I tend to feel that imbalance with Vata, especially in the fall. So the fall season, the whole season has the capability of deranging Vata a little bit. So think about the dry, windy weather, and the wind, is kind of blowing on you and blowing you away. And what else is there? There's some really interesting qualities to that. Vata is also the very creative type that can pull magnificent ideas out of the ether. So please don't think that it's always a negative thing, but we can start to feel very imbalanced in Vata. So this season is a little bit like that. Also, our lifestyles are very very imbalancing for Vata, because we're constantly having 10,000 things on our to-do list to keep track of and flitting back and forth between too many things. So really grounding and focus helps us to bring that back into balance so that we can harness the creative energy rather than get blown all over by the winds. So finding your comfortable seat. Ground down through the sits bones and lengthen the spine. Deepen the breath. Bring one hand to the lower belly and one hand to the chest. And begin your Dirga breath, your deep abdominal breathing. So inhaling down to the lower belly. Exhaling out from the lower belly. Inhaling to the lower belly and the chest. Exhaling from the lower belly and the chest. Inhaling to the lower belly, the chest, and the collarbones. Exhaling from the belly, the chest, and the collarbones. Continuing this breath, this three-part Dirga breath. And then trying to smooth it out, feeling the abdomen as one whole balloon, imagining that the abdomen is like a balloon and just expanding outward in all directions. Still noticing belly, chest, and collarbones, but also trying to keep in mind this balloon of the abdomen. And release the hands. Take a couple more deep breaths. And open the eyes. We're also going to do a little bit of Ujjayi breath, which we did in a class last week, but I want to just point out that Ujjayi breath is also, it's warming and calming. And it also helps to us to focus within posture, and especially postures that might be a little bit challenging. So this slightly warming, but in a calm and balanced way, is really good for balancing Vata. So to do Ujjayi breath, if you haven't done it before, we're going to just do a little practice to help you get the feeling of the throat constriction. So it's a little bit of you're actually opening the glottis a little bit. There's a slight constriction in the back of the throat, but it actually is opening the airway so that there's a sighing sound, kind of like an ocean wave sound. So imagine that you're fogging a mirror. So hold your hand up in front of your open mouth. We're going to do this first with an open mouth. Open your mouth and act like you are fogging the mirror up with your breath. There should be a slight hissing sound. Sigh. So do it really calmly. So you're taking your long, soft inhales and exhales, and try to then get that same feeling on the inhale as well as the exhale, that you're fogging the mirror. So trying to find that slight constriction in the throat. It's a really subtle feeling to make the sigh sound. And then close the mouth and try doing the same, like fogging the mirror, but through the nostrils, and trying to retain that sighing sound and that same constriction in the throat. And then go ahead and drop your hand, and we'll do some rounds of the Ujjayi through the nostrils, through the nose, constricting the throat. So allowing the breath to come in and out of the nostrils, finding just the right constriction so that you have a very strong, soft, stable flow of breath. But you're not making it too loud or straining too much with the constriction in the throat. And I find it helpful to think about it as a wave of breath coming in, wave of breath washing out, that soft sighing sound of the water on the sand. Good, and let that go. And come onto your hands and knees. Finding a place that's comfortable for you. If you have wrist issues, you can roll your mat and use that to soften the wrist compression. You can come up onto fists if you need to. Hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips. And we're going to flow in and out of cat and cow posture, rounding the back. Flip the tailbone up, drop the belly, look forward. Turn the tailbone down, round the back, look at the knees. So make this movement slow and deliberate. Rhythmic movement is very pacifying to Vata, balancing to Vata. And try to bring in your Ujjayi breath. Inhaling as you drop the belly into cow posture. Exhaling as you round the back towards the ceiling. The ocean wave, Ujjayi breath. And turn the toes under and coming up to standing. We're going to do some warm-ups here, some wide feet, nice strong stance, grounding, feeling the weight of your feet into the ground. It's really important to pay attention to the feet in this practice. And we're just going to start gently going from side to side, letting the arms tap into your back. Maybe taking your top arm to the opposite shoulder and the arm in the back gently tapping against your kidney area. And then come on up to the front of your mat. Feet can be hips distance apart. Spread the toes nice and wide. Ground down through both your feet. Lift up through the fronts of the thighs. Let the tailbone fall downward, tucking the tailbone slightly. Lift up through the chest and lengthen through the crown. Bring the hands together at the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Soft knees as much as you need to. Not pushing too strongly into any posture. Inhale the right foot back. Drop the knee, drop the hips, lift the chest. Pausing the breath, step into plank posture. And exhale, knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Come onto the belly, tuck the elbows, lift the chest. Press up and back into downward dog. Pedal the feet. So everything should be nice and slow and a little bit juicy, just bringing movement to the dry, cracky joints. That is a Vata imbalance. Pushing too quickly and too strongly into stretches and postures can imbalance Vata. So if we don't feel grounded and we keep pushing ahead, rushing ahead in all things in life, but also in our asana practice, is Vata imbalancing. So really staying grounded and making sure you have a good foundation. Go ahead and lower the heels only as much as feels right for your body. And take your right foot forward. Drop the knee, drop the hips, lift the chest. And left foot forward. Press strongly into both feet. Reach out and up overhead. Lengthen and look up. And come straight back down. Forward fold. Soft knees. And inhale, left foot back. Drop the knee, drop the hips, lift the chest. Stepping into plank posture. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Come onto the belly, tuck the elbows, lift the chest. And press up and back into downward dog. Inhale and exhale. Next inhale, left foot comes forward. Drop the knee, drop the hips, lift the chest. Exhale, right foot forward, soft knees. Press into the feet, reach out and up overhead, lengthen, look up. And hands to the heart. Spread the toes, ground down through the feet. Grip the thighs, drawing the kneecaps up. Tuck the tailbone, lengthen through the crown. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale the right foot back, staying in a high lunge. And come up into a warrior one. You can either have your back foot at a 45-degree angle, or you can stay up on the toes with the heel up. So finding your strong stance here, bending into that left knee and reaching back into the heel. And we're just going to pulse a little bit, pressing strongly into both feet. Bring your hands to your hips. So you're feeling grounded, finding your balance between the 2 feet. And then you can stay, keeping that left knee as bent as is comfortable for you. And so if you're straining here, come up a little bit higher, finding what works for you. And then tilt the pelvis. So tilt the pelvis forward a little bit. And then you're going to draw the navel up and drop the tailbone. Bend into the left knee as much as is doable for you. So here, if you're struggling here, then keep your hands on the hips and maybe pulse a couple more times, bringing that movement in, trying to break the gripping feeling. And if you're feeling pretty good here, go ahead and take the arms up. You can take the hands to the heart, staying a little bit more grounded, pressing into both feet strongly. And then we're going to open out to a warrior two without the arms. Bringing the back foot parallel to the back of your mat, and the left foot is still pointed towards the front of the mat. Move that knee outward so that it is inside, it's to the outside of the big toe. Finding this balance here. Again, bring the hands to the hips. Straighten the leg, left knee, bend into left knee. Straighten, bend. Just finding that soft rhythm where you're not straining. And try to bring your Ujjayi breath in. Inhale, straighten the leg, exhale, bending into the knee. Or the opposite, either way. And then just hold for a couple breaths. And if you're feeling good, you can try to take the left arm straight ahead, looking in front of you. Palm facing down. And if you're not straining, take the right arm back behind you. Lengthening through the crown, tucking the tailbone. And windmill the hands to the front of the mat. Turning the back foot, step into plank posture. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Come onto the belly, tuck the elbows, lift the chest. Press up and back into a child's posture, letting the knees be wide. Deep inhale and exhale, sighing out any tension. Come on up onto hands and knees, and lifting up into downward dog. And we'll take the right foot forward. And again, either turning the back foot to a 45-degree angle and dropping the heel, or you can keep the heel high. Coming up into warrior one, crescent. And we're going to pulse that front leg. Exhale as you straighten the leg. Inhale as you bend down into the knee. Bringing your Ujjayi breath. Try to tuck the tailbone, relax the shoulders. Pushing strongly into both feet. Grounding into the earth. Finding your strong, stable foundation before adding the arms. And go ahead and hold the knee, bending the knee. And add the arms if you feel you're able to. And just notice if you feel strong and stable when you do that. Or if it takes you off balance, you can also bring the hands to the heart to stay a little bit more compacted. Staying more grounded, reaching out through the back heel and bending into the knee a little bit more. Bring the hands to the hips again, and we're going to turn that back foot parallel to the back of your mat, coming into a warrior two. So opening out a little bit more to, I'm just going to turn so you can see me. So opening out a little bit more to the side. Oops, on the wrong side. Take your hands to your hips and pulse. Exhale as you straighten the knee. Inhale as you bend down into the knee. Make sure that knee is tracking to the outside of your big toe, like towards your second or third toe. And if you feel like you're straining, take your stance up a little closer, finding a place where you have a really comfortable and grounded base. Hold that knee. And then just try taking one arm out in front of you, right arm out in front. And bring your Ujjayi breath. And if you feel able, take the back arm out, straight back behind you. And we nail the hands to the front of your mat. Step out into plank. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Come onto the belly, lift the chest. Press up and back into a wide-legged child's posture. So we're going to turn this into a frog posture. So letting the toes come towards each other. Let the knees be as wide as the edges of your mat. Bring the elbows towards your knees and just sink down. So just think about how a frog hunkers down at the edge of the water. And they're taking in the sun. And just picturing the whole scene is really beautiful and Vata pacifying. So there's the water to soothe the dryness. There's the sun to warm the body. The beautiful grass and everything all around in nature, grounding and balancing. So just imagine yourself as this frog hunkered down and drinking in the sun. Slowly coming up out of your frog posture. Coming to sit on the heels. We're just going to take a couple breaths here. If you have knee issues, you may want to skip this sitting on the heels or just quickly put a pillow in between the buttocks and the heels. Feeling the strong, stable base of your kneeling. Hero's posture. Come up onto the knees. And we're going to take a gentle camel variation. So we're feeling the grounding base of our lower legs here. Really pressing down into the knees, pressing down into the feet. And take the hands to the sacrum, the high hip, the sacrum area, and draw the elbows towards each other without straining. And then pressing into the ground, lift the navel, lift the chest, looking up, leaning back just a little bit. Hips come forward a little bit. No straining, no pain. And Ujjayi breath. Pressing into the ground, feeling the tailbone fall towards the earth. Lifting the navel, lifting the chest, widen the collarbones, elbows towards each other. Ujjayi breath. Slowly coming out. Sitting back to the heels, release the arms. And find a wall, or if you don't have an open wall, a couch or a chair. And you're going to just scoot your hips as close to the wall as you can. Swing the legs up or up onto the chair. And deep breaths. Arms out to the side. Just feeling gravity, surrendering to gravity. And start bending the knees, rolling away from the wall. If you have time and would like to stay there, you can hang out there for 5 or 10 minutes. It's very good for your grounding. So please feel free to stay there if you're able. Making your way back to a comfortable seat otherwise. Deep inhale, lengthen the spine, deep exhale. Feeling the groundedness of your foundation, your root, your base. You can even also imagine a root going from your belly down through the tailbone, down into the earth, inhaling that earth energy back up to your center. Exhaling down through the root. Inhaling, grounding earth energy into your center. Bring your hands together at the heart. I invite you to join for 3 ohms to close. Om.